coming into the...
Right, let me introduce you to the owner of both locations of Certified Smog in Indio, California. His name is Rick McMillan. Hey, Rick.
How you doing?
I'm well, thank you, and ever so happy to be here and to get an education from you about how a smog check is performed. If you'll kindly just let us know where we begin and what we're going to start with and what we're going to do.
Well, we're going to smog 96 Ford, and there's three parts to a smog inspection. One is a visual, functional is the second part, and then the actual emissions test. So if you want to come over here, I can show you where we start on the visual portion of it. First place we start is we find out what vehicle we're working on. In this situation, it's a 97 Ford truck. So we look on the label under the hood here, which tells us all the requirements that are needed on the vehicle's engine. And we make sure that they are there, hooked up properly, and the way they should be. So this is a federal vehicle, so we would have to put that into the TAS, the analyzer system. And it calls for an EGR valve, catalytic converters, and O2 sensors. So everything seems to be hooked up fine here. So that we just need to go over here and input that into the machine.
So one question, Rick. When you put everything into the machine, when you start hooking up, is it directly transmitted to Sacramento?
Once everything is inputted to the machine after the inspection is done, then everything is transmitted to the Sacramento for the DMV.
Very good. So if you have a failing score, that's transmitted as well?
Correct.
So they know your initial score was failed and that you have to have work done? And
correct.
All right, very good. Okay.
And that is the reason for test-only stations. They want to have the actual inspection prior to repairs being done, so that way they can document the repairs and then the retest for a passing grade.
Makes good sense. Good follow-up, good follow-up.
Two kinds of tests in the state of California. One is a loaded mode test, and one is a regular two-speed idle test. We are doing what's called the loaded mode test on this, where we actually run it on a dynamometer. And what that is simulating is it is measuring the emissions of a vehicle taking off from a stop sign or stoplight, and then a cruising speed of 25 miles an hour. So the first portion is a 15-mile-an-hour loaded test, where it puts more of a load on the vehicle, and then a 25-mile-an-hour cruise test. Here is part of the functional test, where the analyzer scans a vehicle's computer to see if there's any fault codes or any sensor information that will contribute to high pollution.
That's what I like about my BMW, the fault codes. You can tell
Okay, now we will see if it will communicate. Establishing connection. It is now communicating with the vehicle. This is also how we get the RPM reading off the vehicles through the computer.
And all of the computers for state certified inspection shops universal? Are there different upgrades? Are there different?
There are three manufacturers. There's only two currently still in business. This is a Snap-on Sun machine, and then the other one is a Worldwide.
Okay, we're better off with Snap-on. I grew up in a body shop. 5 brothers that were all mechanics and race cars.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to do the actual